Peace and positive. This is Amelia A. Otto, aka Emily MC, author of Y'all Not Gonna Make Me Lose My Mind book. And today's topic is on not feeling enough, hyper independence, and when hustle culture goes too far. Now, before we get into some clips from the global community, we're looking at the impact of myths and realities around work ethic, so called work life balance, overworking, sleep cycles, underresting, and stages of burnout on our minds, bodies, and spirits at all ages. We're here to recognize when working hard becomes too hard, where sleep deprivation goes from habit to lifestyle, where pushing ourselves to do all the things or maintain humbling and insecure self concepts damages us mentally and physically. Most importantly, we're here to question the root of the urge to chase carrots on sticks and neon signs in the sky. Now, are we ever taught the difference between good stress and bad stress, or stress and strain? Are certain groups, types, or kinds of people praised for having so called high pain tolerances, or are they just being conditionally dehumanized for real? Are our definitions of success self defined or shaped by cultures, companies, and conditions all too eager to replace us? Are we hustling backwards in the first place by not focusing on making ourselves irreplaceable? And by that insight, is having to prove your life is unique and worthy of mattering, i.e., what we do for a living, and how on track we are to a socially acceptable stability, a construct of the Americanized West anyway? Is it really a social and systemic issue? Is society to blame for working people into their graves? Well, aren't we also society? Do we reinforce unhealthy lifestyles, expectations, and environments on each other, in person, in places, and especially online? And are the values of self-sacrifice, imbalanced relationships, and lifestyles of endurance further reinforced in popular culture and hip-hop all over the place? I.e., the ride or die chick, no days off, the marathon continues, etc. Or is this all just a matter of perspective and moderation? Now, hold up. I got one more question here. Lies is like two more. Okay, well, are we obsessed with the premise of rags to riches or rich to super rich by an almost psychological default? Isn't it interesting how Biggie's song Juicy is universally accepted, yet many maintain a rag mentality even with the riches? And now, speaking of prosperity anthems, while I do agree with Cat Williams on a lot of things, but specifically on the power of the mere opening of Rick Ross's Hustlin' song as one key soundtrack inclusion for bootstrappers of all kinds, we have amassed an abundance of hip-hop songs about money and the pursuit of financial health. Let me highlight once again that financial health is now recognized as a key pillar of mental health by scientific research done by the National Council for Mental Well-Being, Mental Health First Aid, the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, and more. But there's also been just as many slick bars and catchy hooks in every decade of the past century, reminding us about working smarter, not harder. Cardi B told us in her early ascent that she no longer had to dance. She was now making money moves. Little Brother confessed this treadmill life ain't working and gave us some opt-out language on the song Speed, cleverly wordplaying, "This world is just too fast for me." Now, back in the day, the OJs tried to tell us about what people do, quote, "for the love of money." Full circling to the aforementioned Notorious B.I.G., colorful murals of Biggie prominently adorn neighborhoods across the country, which surely would have arrested him once upon a time. And yet, Juicy remains the quintessential rags to riches aspirational anthem and one of few songs in the range of 1 billion streams today. Well, let me hold your hand when I remind you, or inform you, that on the same classic album as Juicy were the songs Everyday Struggle and Suicidal Thoughts. And the album wasn't called Ready to Enjoy, Ready to Heal, or Ready to Live. It was called Ready to Die. Now, for context of this message, I definitely lost sleep to create this video, and that's not unusual for me. So I wish I could say I'm a woman who takes her rush super seriously, but I'm absolutely a work in progress on this too. Just a masterpiece trying to masterpiece, know what I mean? But I also approach this topic as a multi-hyphenate, quote-unquote, minority, whereby being a Black female immigrant raised in New York City meant being expected to work 3 times as hard for a stifling half or even third of the recognition or rewards. I can distinctly remember being in elementary school and being told I wasn't doing enough to excel. Lastly, I'm delivering this message with lived experience as someone who was a child performer, high-achieving student, touring artist, athlete, entrepreneur, activist, ambassador, and program manager, all before the age of 18, and was experiencing stages of burnout early, but had no idea what burnout even was. My suicide attempt, which culminated after I'd gotten my first apartment at 19 years of age, also happened during one of the worst stages of said burnout, which was years in the making. And please note, this happened despite being in the best of health physically and having a full network of positive and loving community. Hard work as a value and practice definitely helped me create the new life I wanted to live, the life I'm living now. However, I can't deny the law of diminishing returns, the law of entropy, and the law of cause and effect. I had to learn in hard ways sometimes that rejuvenation, boundaries, rest, and recovery are parts of training and necessary for sustained success. Now, I've begun asking many celebrities and public figures, including Pharoah Monch, who wrote the foreword of this book, how they assess their sleep cycles and self-care amidst demanding and successful careers. I want to ask you to ask yourself the same as you watch this video. Is it as simple as making sure you go outside and touch some grass, or taking a bubble bath and calling it self-care? Or is there more to this? Is it really hard work that pays off? Or the smart work? Or the smart rest, self-love, and wellness between the two? Can hustle culture, insecurity, or lack of rest be the fuel to our lives, or actually be fatal? Now, if you're following along with my original book, here's your day 3 quote from page 147. And if you're following along with my youth workbook, we're on prompt number 3. Thank you all for your support of Y'all Not Gonna Make Me Lose My Mind. And without further ado, let's roll the clips and hear from the global community about the dynamics and dangers of overworking and under-resting our way to a perceived top or to a below ground bottom. Peace.
So in the Black community, hustle has kind of become like a religious body, right? They told us work would save us, not God, not community, not rest, just work, right? If you grind hard enough, you'll get out. If you stay busy enough, you'll matter. If you never stop moving, you'll outrun the fear that you're nothing without productivity. So we built religion as hustle, a religion of hustle. Right? We tie their time to our jobs that don't love us. We offer our bodies to sleep deprivation. And we memorize the gospel of deadlines, side hustles, and career pivots. Capitalism became the altar. Burnout became the prayer. Exhaustion became the proof that we're worthy. But here's the truth. We're not worthy. We're not working this hard because we love it. And I just need that to know. That's the truth. Right? We're not working this hard because we love it. And some people seem convinced we are, that we're working this hard because this is what we have to do. No. But here's the thing. We work this hard because we're afraid of what the silence may reveal. Because in that stillness, we might hear, you're not lazy, you're just tired of being extracted. You're not failing, you're just not made for constant sacrifice. You don't lack discipline, you lack a system that respects your body. And the hustle was never about purpose. It was about proving that you weren't disposable. It was about escaping the fate we saw in our parents' eyes. It was about surviving in a world that says, if you're not producing, you're wasting oxygen. But what happens when the hustle stops? Do you still feel like someone? Right? That's a good question. Right? Do you know how to rest without guilt? Can you imagine a future where value isn't tied to output? Because if you can't, hustle might not be a path. It might be your prison. You might be in the religion. And the thing is, grind culture doesn't love you. It applauds you when you collapse, and it sells your purpose, but delivers only fatigue. The only radical thing you can do in this type of situation is choose joy over striving, slowness over spectacle, and healing over the hustle. Now, I gather my voice, because this is one that Get next with me. But one of the things I've been hearing recently is like this conversation about the word healing, right? And is the word healing enough, right? Like, you know, people are tired of hearing it. It's return, right? Return is the right word. You're returning back. Okay, it isn't that you know, you've been wounded and you're in the middle of some recovery process. You are returning. Okay, like you might have been distant, separate, all of that. You're just returning back to yourself.
Am I the only one that doesn't like hustle culture? Why do I need an LLC? Why do I need multiple streams of income? Why am I lazy if I don't want to be an entrepreneur? Why can't I just be normal? You got to lose sleep. You're going to lose family members. You got to work 90 million hours a week. Why do I have to do that? I like what I have. I'm cool with what I got. I'm trying to figure out what in history happened where enough no longer became enough. And who decided that luxury or lavish living was the best way to live? And I'm guilty of it too, because I have well over 100 pair of sneakers. And that is not including my basketball sneakers or my soccer cleats, indoor and turf. All these pairs of shoes and I only got 2 feet. What happened to make the majority of people go against our nature? Like everything we do is against our nature. And I feel like that's the root of depression. It's in our nature to want to survive. And these are the conditions we're given now where we got to do all this extra shit in order to survive. But the conditions we are trying to survive in is unnatural. But it's a bunch of bullshit, right? Can we agree that all of this is a bunch of BS?
I watched a video this morning from an economist that said we need rags to riches story to keep us on the spinning wheel. And it struck a chord with me because we see these influencers on here doing affiliates and their videos are popping off and they're making a lot of money, and it's caused a lot of people to flood into the system hoping to have the same results. But really all we're doing is giving free advertising to corporations. Now, I'm not saying not to do that because I'm still going to do that, but it did make me stop and think how we are on a hamster wheel because we see other people doing it, so we believe that we can do it. But really, the system is rigged. It is rigged for certain people to pop off so that everybody wants to do it, and the corporations at the top benefit the most. And we're so busy chasing this dream and trying to make this money that we don't even see that our government isn't working for us. And I'm not trying to make this political or make this about the government, but it's definitely a distraction having all these people throw, oh, you can make this and you can make that, versus how to solve this and how to solve that.
But now we have a whole new generation of men that are finna enter into the academic spaces, right? And so then what's the next thing? We got that hustle culture shit. Now what that does is equate education with a waste of time, but incentivizes labor and instant gratification. Delayed gratification of getting a 4-year degree. But the accomplishment and the journey, no, that's not what they say. They want you to get out there, hustle right now, apply yourself. Niggas that say goofy shit. I went from $10 to 10 million in 10 months.
Yeah, nigga, what? How?
I ain't never seen nigga go from 10 to 10 million in 10 months, but they do shit like that because it's alliteration. It sound good.
Yeah.
This is my 10X theory. This is how it went from $10 to 10 million in 10 months. It'd be EDM. $10 million. Niggas is excited.
You know, you ever get 10 mil?
Shit.
10 months?
10 mil in 10 months.
And they got a 10-year sentence.
That's a scamming.
Yeah.
Yeah, they finna have their way with you. Niggas got a pamphlet for you in there. Shit don't even say nothing. This the whole pamphlet. It's 3 pages. Yep. Dreams, goals, motivation.
That's it.
That's it.
Realize that despite being 22 years old, I have just outgrown, I don't know, New York or the United States. It's just like everything is so fast-paced for no reason. I am a very hard worker and I work in very fast-paced industry, so it's not necessarily the pace of things that just bothers me. It just feels like, why am I constantly going? Like, I never have a time where I can just sit down and breathe, and I feel like if I'm sitting down and breathing, my life is wasting away, and that those moments where I'm resting, I could be doing something that could change my life. And I constantly feel like I'm just on a treadmill, just fighting for my life, when I am here. I don't know what to do because I have big dreams and I want to achieve them, but it's like, at what cost?
39, and if I could give any advice, rest. Resting is a strategy. Resting, sleeping, relaxing, meditating, praying. Calm down. Hustle culture was probably one of the worst things that happened to my generation. Everybody relax. Calm down. Read a book. Drink some water. Go to sleep.
So I'm 21, I already have one of my dream cars, pretty nice apartment, make decent money for my age. I'm not saying that to flex, but I'm saying that because none of this shit makes me happy. And don't get me wrong, I'm very grateful. Make sure to pray and thank God for it every day. But all this is a byproduct of hustle culture. Because of the niche that I'm in, social media has convinced me that I have to be staying up all night to work on my projects, that I have to be grinding 24/7 and doing all this other bullshit. And all those years of grinding and sleepless nights just stacked up and honestly put me in a worse position than where I was before. Back when I started my business, I was broke, I was going through depression, but I was so happy to be doing something for myself. I was super excited to learn, and I started deep diving content every single day about how to grow a business. But you will quickly see how fast your For You page, your YouTube feed transitions into this kind of hustle culture content that promotes just the worst kind of shit. That kind of content quickly made my self-value depreciate and was based purely on performance. I haven't had a normal sleep schedule in 4 years, and literally this summer it eventually all paid off. Got the car, crib, whatever, cool. I was finally able to take a break and look back at everything I've accomplished. I realized for the whole 4 years, I was not even really happy. I was too busy creating a life that would look pretty on social media, that I thought would bring me external validation, and the whole time, it's all garbage. My entire life now is not even my own.
Fuck, this shit is not normal. It's not normal to work this much. It's not normal to be burnt out. It's not normal to always be tired. And it's just like everything becomes so overstimulated because I feel like we're just so fucking burnt out, overworked all the fucking time. Everything's go, 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 rush, rush, rush. It's just, it's too much. Like, I literally was trying to in the grocery store. I was trying to buy groceries and I got overstimulated because I'm like, what the fuck? Like, why are my groceries so expensive? Why am I paying $70 for 3 fucking items? Like, this shit is crazy. And then I'm like, well, damn, I can't even really afford to eat out because I eat out is not really much that you can eat that don't have poison in it, don't have bugs or some crazy shit in it. And then it's like, if you do cook, which I have to cook because I'm vegan, it's like you feel like you spend all of your time cooking, but it's really not that. It's just that you spend so much time working that every hour that you're not working, it just feels like, you know, I don't know. For me, I feel like I have a countdown almost in my head. Like when I'm not working, like as soon as I get off work, I'm like, okay, countdown to, you know, I have to this 25 minutes to get home, 25 minutes to shower. Like I'm like literally timing out and scheduling out every little single thing in my day. And it's like, okay, we can normalize this productivity, all this stupid shit, but it's not that. It's not that.
Eating lunch alone is one of my favorite ways to ensure a work-life balance. The workday is overstimulating. It's busy. It's loud. You need peace. You need silence at some point in that day. And if taking it offends someone, I don't know, still take it.
That whole quiet quitting thing and people being like, why am I going above and beyond when the pay is below and short?
There's a thing in this country where it's like, you won't be paid for your labor, but you will be paid in power. So this is where you get people that work at the same company as you, but they middle management. Okay. And they wake up and they live for that shit yes, just because they can tell somebody what to do. Yes. Them, you type of niggas is the type of people that keep that type of thing going because there's always going to be people that want to feel in control of something. Yeah. And 9 times out of 10 is because they completely out of control and they walking like.
Exactly that.
I saw a clip of the rapper Sugar Free on the podcast. He said you got people who can walk. They can talk, see, hear, smell, taste, and touch. They are perfect health and strength, and yet they choose to be a nobody. Now let's examine that for a minute because I thought that was mad interesting. But what does it mean to be a nobody? Think about it. Are you a nobody because you don't earn a bunch of money? Are you a nobody because people don't know who you are? You know, you're not popular or you're not famous. Are you a nobody because you don't quote unquote thrive in this slave matrix we live in? Does that make you a nobody? I mean, let's really stop and think about this. What does it mean to be a nobody? I mean, how are you a nobody when you exist? Let's really think about this. Because from what I see, the concept of being a somebody and a nobody is completely man-made. It's completely false. It has absolutely nothing to do with your true worth as a human being.
Being unremarkable can feel terrifying. Who am I if I am not remarkable? Who am I if I am not excelling and achieving beyond expectations? What is my worth? What is my value if I am not doing, if I am not creating, if I am not being productive in some capacity? Problem is that means that we never actually get a chance to rest. recover from burnout, we have to reduce our emotional, our cognitive, and our identity load.
Everyone's obsessed with work-life balance as if it's the holy grail. Meanwhile, the most successful people that I know don't have any balance in their life. What they actually have is integration, and here's the difference. Balance implies that work and life are opposing forces, that you actually have to sacrifice one to have the other. And you're constantly trying to keep that even, which is exhausting, and it's actually impossible. Integration, it means your work fuels your life and your life fuels your work. There's no separation, there's no guilt. It doesn't feel like because you're successful at one, you're failing at the other one.
People who are not burnt out all have this one thing in common. And they don't have easy jobs or no stress in their business. It's quite the opposite. What they do is very challenging. They have good boundaries, but they know that that's not enough because what they have is mental agility. Not just pushing through and working harder. That's only going to lead to your nervous system crashing, and they know how to have wealth without sacrificing their health.
Yourself saying, well, I just have to work really hard for a little while so I can catch up. Then it'll be fine. Let me tell you something. It's not going to be fine because that habit of always thinking you have to catch up and never getting ahead probably means you need to make some adjustments in the way that you work. Let me give you a tip that was given to me by Stephen R. Covey, one of my first bosses. He said, order matters. So imagine your life is, and the work you have is in a jar.
Have you ever wondered why you can't stop overworking or overdoing, overperforming, even when you're burned out? Hi, my name is Dr. Minor, and I am a board-certified psychiatrist, so let's talk about what's happening. When you feel self-doubt or worry about falling short, your brain activates its threat system. Taking action, whether that's staying late, working harder, fixing more, it temporarily quiets that alarm. Your cortisol drops, your heart rate settles, and for a moment you feel calm again. But that quick relief is a very powerful reinforcement, and it teaches your brain that when I overwork, I feel safe. And that is why the urge to overwork returns every time you feel anxiety. Awareness is the first step to breaking that pattern.
If your job is mentally destroying your inside and your brain and your mentality, don't work for a company like that because your health is important, bro. I'm telling you.
This is a sad situation right here. Now, this right here is Quita Cole. She made a post basically saying she's taking the next 3 days off. She need rest. Now, Quita Cole, she owned her own business and she's worked 7 days a week non-stop. After she made this post, she did exactly what she said she was going to do. She said she was going to chill out and she was going to get some rest. She got some rest and she ended up not waking up. And the thing that I love about this post is when you read the comments, a lot of people, they're saying good things. Let's look at some of them. Read this first one. We're out here hustling so hard that we're forgetting to take care of us. This breaks my heart. I know she loved what she did, which she did love it. This next one says she was living out her passion. At least she was pursuing her dream. There's people who are living but not living, if you get what that means. This literally affects everyone, even myself. Now, I'm a lot younger than most that's working as hard. And I work a lot. Like, when I mean a lot. Plus, I'm on TikTok all the time. So imagine mixing that with all of the other work that I do. And the people around me work just as hard as me too. So for this to happen, we all have to take time to rest. And crazy as it sounds, from me saying this, I'm a lot hard-headed when it comes to this. A lot of people tell me I need to take rest, and I tell them, like, no, I'm young, I need to hustle. But let this be an example for us that we actually need to take time for ourselves.
I started waking up, and one of the first thoughts in my head when I opened my eyes was some version of, I can't do this anymore. I want to run away from my life.
I am very familiar with the burnout.
I think modern culture is really set up to create these cycles of fractured thinking and nonstop distractions and interruptions, and it leads to a ton of chaos in our brains, which creates disease in our bodies, and it leads to despair in our hearts.
Prioritize your health. Prioritize your rest. Get you about 7 or 8 hours of sleep every day, man. Because as you get older, two things gonna reveal itself. The people that took care of themselves and the people that knew how to manage their money. Don't think all that drinking and smoking you be doing ain't gonna catch up with you, man. The health issues that you finna go through in your 40s started brewing when you were about 25. Started 15 years ago when you weren't paying attention to your health. That's when it started brewing. All the people that's on this list I just named was legendary, man. Timeless music, legendary DJs, man. Classics, man. They all had money, they all had success, but none of their accolades, attributes, money, or success could stop or prevent them from seeing death. Don't take your health for granted. Go get you a physical, go get your blood work, and get physical.
Did you know that if you're sleep deprived, your brain literally starts acting like you're drunk? Most people think that if they're tired, they just feel a little foggy. But as a neurologist, I can tell you, sleep deprivation actually mimics brain damage, and it starts happening way sooner than people think.
We've just done a really bad job educating people from a public health perspective what these symptoms are and what they actually mean. Even to the point that sometimes I've tried to explain microsleeps and REM intrusions to people, and they're like, yeah, no, that's not what's happening to me. I'm just falling asleep briefly. And I'm like, that's literally what I'm talking about. Like that is the name for what I'm giving you the name for falling asleep briefly involuntarily, and people just don't want to hear it.
We're stuck in chronic states of anxiety. We are mobilized, we are on the go, we are busy, we are staying distracted or anxious all the time. Which is why it's really hard for us to rest down or go into our rest and digest, or what we call our ventral state of safety and connection. So what can we do? We call this discharging. We need to discharge or express and expel some of that adrenaline and cortisol so that your pressure cooker starts to come down a little bit so that you can rest. So how can we discharge some of these hormones from the body? You can do simple things for just 1 to 2 minutes before bed, like heel drops. So rising up on your toes, dropping down, rising up, dropping down. You want to do something that gets your heart rate slightly elevated, but not too much.
Let me be clear. You're not lazy. You're overstimulated, undernourished, and running on a nervous system that never got to power down. I'm Dr. J, and here's a simple 3-step anti-burnout routine I give to my patients and use myself. Box breathing. Inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, hold again for 4. Repeat this for however long you have. You can do this for a minute, for 5 minutes. It'll help regulate your parasympathetics and brings your cortisol and adrenaline levels down in real time. It tells your brain, I'm safe. I can slow down. It literally shifts your body out of fight or flight.
With that said, if you are going through any type of mental stress, the last thing to do is keep it to yourself. Man. You know what I mean? And that doesn't mean go speak to someone else. Because if you can't accomplish that, sometimes you literally can't do that. But figure out a way to get it out and make sure it's not negative. Try your hardest, you know what I mean? But you figure out a way to get it out. Figure some kind of way, and I resulted to the pen and pad. You know what I mean? You gotta figure it out.
Hustle culture, stay on the grind, get your money up, not your funny up. Like, I know we're used to it, but we shouldn't be. We were not put on this earth to work forever.